You know, a J.J. Abrams film that isn't full of more lens flares than unexplained red goo just doesn't feel right. It's like a superhero film not being full of instantly dated CGI, Meryl Streep giving a bad performance, Michael Bay turning in a tender, understated film that's generating Oscar buzz, or even a James Corden film that's actually watchable. It's just wrong somehow. It'd be a nice change, but it's just not the way that the universe works. But here we are. Not once in the 110 minutes that Overlord was on the screen was there a single lens flare, and I should know because I hardly blinked during the entire runtime. Hell, this film could have been tailor-made for me. Set the night before D-Day, we follow a pair of American soldiers who have to blow up a radio tower before 6 AM the next morning, otherwise the D-Day landings could fail. Their drop goes wrong and they find themselves severely outnumbered, low on supplies, men and morale, surrounded by the most cartoonishly evil Nazis this side of a Saturday morning cartoon, and with the growing realisation that there's something terrible happening in the church which could change the entire course of the war. There's no CGI, bar a few really bad planes in the first 10 minutes, no flashbacks explaining who everyone is and how they got that way. People die. A lot of people die. And director Julius Avery, who's also working on a Flash Gordon reboot with Matthew Vaughn, which should be interesting, is clearly relishing the fact that this is an AT movie by putting in exploding heads, body transformations, some nightmarish visuals and gruesome deaths, among other treats. It was tense and exciting with very little let-up since the film takes the Saving Private Ryan approach to its opening scenes. Except not as good, obviously. I mean, the Saving Private Ryan opening scene is the best movie scene of all time. With characters who were just sort of introduced before being casually murdered, leaving us to realise that nobody is safe. And as a result, the screen frequently hums with tension. In fact, were it not for the Darth Vader breathing, constantly complaining to no one in particular about the levels of violence in a rated 18 film Muppet sitting next to me, my screening would have been in perfect silence. It's the best B-movie I've seen in years. It's not perfect though. Like I said, the few Nazis that do get any character development and aren't just goons to be shot are pretty much Saturday morning cartoons, and with such an important deadline, there should have been much more of a sense of a ticking clock. The knowledge that if these men fail, then D-Day itself might be at risk. Also, for a horrifically well-guarded fortress, the Nazi central base is pretty easy to slip in and out of. For films like this to really work, the tension has to be built up to unbearable levels and kept there, with an ever more terrified soldier with ever dwindling and ever more ineffective ammunition being attacked by mutated monstrosities, all the while aware that thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of men's lives hang by the single thread that is his own life. And whilst there was some of that, the fact that the main characters could pop in, suffer a few jump scares and then pop home for a cup of tea before trying again 20 precious minutes later did let down some of the tension. Also, either Third Reich soldiers had one hell of a union when it came to their own tea breaks, or this lot were hired from a home for the audio and visually impaired, because there were at least 4 or 5 times where ostensibly stealthy heroes decide to start firing guns in the middle of an under-curfew village, right next to at least 2 Nazis. French soundproofing has got to be incredible. And whilst I get that these soldiers weren't going to be telling us their life story, a bit of depth would have gone down nicely. Along with a few jokes, a bit of black humour goes down a treat in these films. I mean, I wasn't expecting anything along the lines of dog soldiers.
There's no way I'm about to break radio silence because you lot got spooked by a dead fly fucking cow.
But a few quips here and there would be appreciated. There's also a few little niggles as well. Soldiers all seem to have unlimited ammunition. There's a possibly enhanced dog that just vanishes. There are a few shots which existed purely to be in the trailers. They were all glossy and slow-mo and seemed really out of place. Soldiers of African heritage weren't integrated with Caucasian units during World War II. That could have been easily fixed in the script. But there's no real deal breakers, just a lot of little things that only started adding up when I started writing my own script. All in all though, Overlord did its job really, really well. It's a good, gory, violent, tense movie with unexplained red goo that I could happily buy when it comes out on download. Hell, I even like the child actor. With a touch more tension and maybe some black humour, this could have been a great movie instead of just a really good one. But I absolutely think that you should see it. But what do you guys think? And what do you think is the greatest film scene of all time? Comment below, let me know. I'm Daniel, it's been a dunking. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe.